There we are.
Hi. Hi, Kate.
Oh my goodness, folks, there are so many people here. And folks, I cannot wait to, you all know this wonderful, wonderful lady next to me, the fantastic, the super talented, the super creative, the super kind Danielle Wickes. Oh my gosh.
Hi.
I feel like I'm fangirling for sure. You know, Danielle, and for today, so let me tell you all, we have special guest Danielle Wickes here for Free Tip Friday. She's going to be talking about her beautiful bracelet, her Wickes box ends. We're going to talk about those. She has a project to share with you, a handout that she so graciously made. But I will tell you, Danielle, so many people, over 100 people now, almost 100 people are watching. And I know that they're as big as fans of you as I am, as I put on my scarf, as I finish getting dressed. But my friend, you're here. You're with us finally. We've been talking about this for so long.
I know, right? I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my goodness. Well, why don't you, there we go. Now I'm completely ready to go. Hooray. We have, people are just talking about you already. Thank you for having Danielle on the Free Tip Friday. She's such a prolific designer. I couldn't agree more. We're so excited to have everyone here. One of our comments, Kim Golias is saying, good morning, afternoon. She's got you and I on her phone while the Olympics opening ceremony is on TV. So
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Well, we've got the gold medalist right here, folks. So Danielle, why don't you tell us a little bit about you for our viewers who aren't as familiar with you as some of us are, and then we'll get started.
Sounds good. I'm Danielle Wickes, and I actually got my start with seed beading, watching bead shop tutorials with Emily and Kate. And so I've loved bead shop for a long time. And so really, I'm a seed beader. That's the whole thing. I have a website, DanielleWickesJewelry.com, and I do tutorial writing and teaching.
Well, we are so happy to have you. Your designs, we've had you your designs on Bead Shop before, but this is the first time we have your marvelous face. I was looking, I think I've put them away. I think they're actually still packed. You made me an amazing pair of earrings that I was going to wear today. But instead, you and I talked about symbol beads yesterday. So I'm wearing some symbols today. So with gem duos. So we may be seeing some fun things from Danielle in the future, above and beyond seed beads, which is super exciting. We have a great comment here from Katney, who says, I keep hearing Danielle Wickes' name on all the beading sites. Glad to finally attend a live show and see the legend at work. We are going to see the legend at work. Jennifer is fangirling for you. These are so great. Margaret says how much she loves these findings. And Janice, of course, is here doing the moderating. So thank you so much. And Kim Crawford saying Danielle was here back in the day when the beadshop.com live started. It is true. We were really lucky to have you on our design team. We've got some great designs from you. So now this is just the first of hopefully many upcoming projects with you, my friend.
Yes, definitely. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. So let me share with you, everybody, just real quick before we get started with Danielle. I want to share with you, she created a really fantastic handout for us. So I want to go and share my screen with all of you. Just bear with me here, and then we'll get to Danielle's tutorial. Let me get sharing my screen. There's this, and then I'll just show you folks kind of where to find everything. So right here, right on the home page, and I think, let me click back. Yeah, you can see that. Okay. Are her 2 samples that Danielle made today. Let's click over. Let's take a look at them. We put them under our standard peyote stitch kind of page there. She's got 2, one called Aloe, one called Agave, which are great names. And you can see, you can see everything that she's used. And if you click on the handout, let me click over there. You can see she's got a really fantastic handout that you can download and follow along. And Danielle, your handouts are always so beautiful. So thank you so much for doing that for us. We really appreciate it. Janice is also saying, make sure to go through our lookbooks. You'll see some great projects over there that Danielle did for us. So I'm going to stop sharing the page. I am going to stop sharing comments for the moment. I'm going to bring in your demo screen. I'm going to highlight it. And my friend, why don't you just take it away?
Okay, sounds good.
Right. Perfect. There we are.
All right, and so what I've got here on the mat are the 2 samples before the finding is put on. And so what I thought I would do is demo how to start this stitch and then to show you how to attach it to the finding. And so there's 2 versions. One is made with 8/0 seed beads and some 3mm cubes. And it's just a really cool, and this one's really fast too, because you're using the 8/0.
Right, the bigger beads really work up much quicker.
Yes, exactly. I love that. This one takes a little more labor of love, but the result is phenomenal. It's 11/0 with an 1.8mm cubes. It's super, super fun to make. And then attaching them to the finding is a snap. And what's in the handout is some illustrations showing how to get that going. So when we get to that part, you don't have to memorize anything. It's all here for you. And
That's
there's
awesome.
that show you how to put those together. Yeah. So, Kate, what do you think? Should I start maybe with the 8/0 just so it's nice and
easy? Yeah,
easy?
why don't we do that? And, at the end, so I don't forget, you've opened a can of worms with the earrings that you're wearing, Danielle. So
yes.
Before we're done, we can, or you could just flash them now if you want. So, oh my goodness.
And these are the same beads we're using today, in addition to these. Please just punch.
Oh, you use the pleased. I do not have enough words of praise. The Pleased to Punch monthly mix. There's fantastic.
It's so pretty. I love the hex beads are my fave. And so when you did this, I'm like, I need that.
Oh my goodness.
There's already a tutorial for these, and it was broadcast live on Nilay's website on Wednesday.
Oh, that's awesome. So is that silver silk up there?
Yep, that's pipe chain.
Yeah. It is. Nilay, I know that you do some designing for Nilay as well. And Nilay is a good friend of Bead Shop and a good friend of mine for many years. Look at that pipe chain. I love it when we can cross promote our buddies. Look at that pipe chain from Silver Silk. Friends, if you're not familiar with Nilay and his Silver Silk, he's one of our TGBE members, founders. And Danielle, I know you're doing some great designing and stuff for Nilay as well. So fantastic. I love it. So you can pop over to Silver Silk and get that great tutorial.
It's so fun. So super fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess we should get back to what we're doing here, yes. but thank you for sharing. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you. And so a quick glance at the materials. So the 11/0 version here used, you just basically need 2 colors of 11/0. You need some 1.8 cubes and then some 15/0 seed beads.
Great.
And then for the 8/0 design, it's the same concept. It's 2 colors of 8/0, 1 color of a 3mm cube. Mm-hmm. And then you still want to have some of those 15s. You only need them in one little spot. It's at the end when we finish it.
Okay, great.
And that's pretty much it. I'm using Fireline. And I'm using a size 10 beading needle.
Gotcha.
And this is the 6-pound Fireline.
6 pound. Okay, gotcha. And friends, you can, if you've just hopped on, you can find that handout. The link is here. Janice has put it in the comments, but you can also go right to beadshop.com, right to either of Danielle's two projects, the Aloe and the Agave is the other one. Is that right? Yep. And you can just click the handout button and it's right there. You can just download it as many times as you need it.
Yeah, and it's it'll show starting too. So everything I'm going to do is it's all there. So don't have to memorize any of these little steps here.
Awesome.
And so what these are both made with is it's a variation of multi-drop peyote, but it's even count. So it's super easy, no turns. It starts by using 2 drop, and then it uses the cubes as a 1 drop.
Because they're the same size.
Yeah, it worked out really nicely.
Oh, that's clever.
And then this one, I felt just for the finding, I was really going for making it match the width of the finding. With this one, I felt like it needed 3. So it starts with 311 instead of the 280. And then the rest is the same.
Gotcha.
But it is really kind of the same steps, totally.
Danielle, this is a finding that you have designed. So we are so lucky to have you demo it. I was going to hack my way through a tutorial, so I'm so stoked that you're here to do it for us. So when you made these, or when you designed these pieces, you were really looking for just a clean, just kind of cool way to finish like peyote stitch or these types of bracelets, right?
Yes, yeah, all types. Like I was going to show this one later, but I've got a herringbone one as well.
Oh, look.
Same beads we're using, except for I added some little 15s in the chartreuse.
Oh, so clever.
And then looming was the main idea came from looming.
Gotcha.
Because in a loom design, you know how you have those warps, and
right.
Try as I might, I can't always weave them in to my satisfaction so that they look as good as I wish they would. Or sometimes, I just want to not have to weave them in. I'd like to just tie them to something. So originally this idea was to tie those warp strands to this bar and then trim them, put a little dot of glue on those knots. It disappears and opens up your ability to use a different kind of warp thread than will fit in your beads, for example, and then just hide it and not have to see those ends.
Why is this like news to me? Maybe it's because I haven't really communed with these. We have to do a looming. I'm just telling you now. We have to do something in looming together. Yeah, Lorraine is already like, I already want to learn that. Yes.
I can see some of your beautiful macrames too. Like some of the things.
Oh my gosh. So of course it's not just for peyote stitch. It's for all of it. And Dawn already is like, come back with a herringbone. It is fantastic. Well, great. We will just do a whole series on just these findings, my friend. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I think, I probably have not thought of all the things you could do with this. It's just whatever I've thought of so far, right? There's so many other ideas.
And they come in 2 widths. Is that right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. So originally my thinking was one for 11/0 and one for 8/0. But what I've discovered is you can totally use 8/0 with this one or 11/0.
Okay. Gotcha.
Another cool thing is because they're pretty soft. If you put a little either like, painter's tape on your chain nose pliers, maybe use some square nose, you can open them up.
Oh.
To make room if it's not wide enough for the bead you want to use.
Right. Because it is such malleable. It's a pewter base, right?
Yes.
And so they are a pretty malleable metal. So yeah, I could totally see that. The metalsmith in me is like, yeah, I'm ready. That's awesome. And
that would be great for across cultures. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great. And Kattni said, is there a good place for beginners to start? I'm not sure of some of the terminology. So let me tell you, Kattni, that we have on beadshop.com just a ton of learning. If you go to our seed bead school with Emily does a lot of beginning, introduction to you with seed beads. If you go to our skill builders, and if you have any questions, and I didn't do this earlier, so let me do that. Apologies, Danielle. I'm going to cover you up for just a second. You can hit us up over at info@beadshop.com. Follow us on any of our socials, and it'll all be there. All right, now I promise to stop interrupting you, my friend, and get you going.
This is a super easy, and I think it's super quick. It's the same steps over and over. So once you've got it going, you got it going. You just repeating the same thing. To start it, you'll want to string. Start with 2 of each of the colors. So the size 8 seed beads in my case right here. And then you want to start with 2 of the cubes. And then I'm going to go back to 2 more of my contrast color, and then 2 more my edge color. So that's all you got to do to start, is just string that. And then you'll want to leave enough tail to do the end step of attaching it to your finding. So I think in the handout I was saying to leave, honestly, I usually eyeball it, but maybe at least 15 inches of tail to do that end step of getting it put onto the end finding. And then, so to start your peyote stitch, and I learned this from you, Kate.
Oh my God. Okay. And Danielle, would you mind popping your camera down just a hair? I'm sorry, maybe just a bit if you can. I know it's hard to get everybody close. There we go. That's fantastic.
I was filming looming yesterday, so it's up for the loom.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Perfect. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, that is awesome. And so all I did was I strung the 2 and the 2, and then 2 cubes, 2 and 2.
Got it.
Bar, just easy string in there. And now I've picked up 2 more just in my first color. And I'm going to skip those first 2 and go through the next 2. So we're just doing peyote stitch, but we're treating these as 1 bead.
Right. Just a simple 2 drop for those guys.
And then to make that pop into place, and this is what you taught me. Make them pop like that.
Yeah. You just you're the boss of those beads, my friend.
Yep. And so that's all you got to do, and just keep going. So I'm going to pick up a cube next, and I'm going to skip the next cube and go through the one after that.
Gotcha.
Same thing. I'm just going to pull that working and tail thread apart. Just get that to pop right into place.
Gotcha. So what you're doing is you're stacking color on color.
Yep, that was what I did for this design, but it's not a rule. Like you could do any color, like combo. You could do a pattern.
Gotcha. But for this particular one, the beads that you're skipping is the color that you're putting on the needle.
In this case, yes. Yeah, that was and that was just a design choice because I feel like there's so many creative patterns. But sometimes if I'm going to go live, I make it really easy on myself.
Right. Total. Right. So you only have to focus on one thing. Same.
Right. So often it's out of practicality as well. And so just skipping those 2 and then pull the working and tail thread apart. And there I've got my first 3 rows done. Sorry. And so from here on, it's just even count peyote stitch. We treat each bead as 1 bead. So I'll pick up 2 of those limestone and head back through these 2 here.
That limestone is such a pretty color. It's not off-white. It's not green. It's not, it's really such a good color, I think.
It's one of my favorites. And I discovered it from Bead Shop as well. It's one of the colors that you guys introduced me to.
Oh.
It came from your shop. And then I needed more.
Right.
Yes. It's like the perfect one to add to almost every pattern you're doing.
It really is. It's not so bright as white. And, I've been cleaning up the Bead Shop Studio here because we just launched, actually. I put up in Bead Shop Studio last night some of my metalsmithing tools. We're going to start working with that stuff. So those of you who are watching Bead Shop Studio, we did a little stealth drop, and we're going to link some tutorials for you in tomorrow's newsletter. But I've been trying to get things clean here and organized, and it's so I'm organizing my seed beads, and I look at my seed beads, and now all I want to do is make this bracelet.
Well, hey, I want to check out the studio. That sounds fun.
Well, you are welcome to join us here any time.
That sounds so cool. I love metalsmithing. I'm not very good at it, but I love it.
Well, we'll have some. We'll go to my metalsmithing studio and have some time for sure.
Oh, awesome. And so this is just really super meditative stitch. I love peyote stitch. It's one of my favorites. I love all the stitches, to be honest. But
no, it's great. And if you'd center that just a little bit, there we go. Perfect. Thank you, Dan.
Oh yeah, sorry. I tend to wander off the camera. I'm in
I
my room.
I am the queen of wandering for sure. And while you're stitching, I did want to mention, we just jumped right on before I even told everyone what was going on, but Karen wanted to thank us for the 30% discount on the Miyuki beads. So I'm going to flash this real quick, my friends, so you can see this. I should have done it right at the beginning. I was so excited to get started. But we have just for you viewers, and it's stealth. I didn't do it at the very beginning, so it's super stealth. You can see here, we really appreciate you all being a part of our live community. And today only on 7/26, you can enter Miyuki 30 at checkout and save 30% off on all Miyukis. And that's valid until midnight tonight. The only place this is advertised, my friends, is right here on this broadcast. So thank you, folks, for your loyalty and your patronage and your kind comments. We really, really appreciate it. I'm going to put it up right here on the screen so we can get back to Danielle's stitching.
That's an awesome coupon.
Well, we just thought we needed a celebration. Why not a party?
And so this is basically the same step for the duration of your bracelet.
Okay, great.
Nice and flowy. You can listen to a podcast or some music and just start there and stitch.
Oh, that's awesome. So how do you then figure out lengthwise? Like if you lay out your findings, it looks like I'm looking here with the one that we used. It's almost 2 inches.
It does add quite a bit of length, especially if you're going to put on a clasp that also adds length. So in the featured designs, we were going with a toggle just to kind of guesstimate. And you've got your jump ring here. And then the same thing happening over here. And either 1 or 2 jump rings on that side to get your toggle bar on. So in total, I can go back and measure my beaded length, but my finished clasped length here would be 7.5 roughly.
Yeah, that looks great. Yeah. And so folks, when you're making it, just decide, what works for you, the length. And it's really easy. If you overshoot with the peyote stitch, it's really easy to pick back a couple of rows as well, to make it shorter.
Yes, absolutely. You can just pull them right out. And so the beaded length on that, just to maybe help someone estimate the clasp addition, is it adds a lot of length. I'm seeing here that
it's about 5.5. Yeah, so I was right. It's about the setup that we have for you with this great nun design clasp is about 2 inches.
It adds, that adds quite a lot. So it saves you a little stitching time.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Which on the 11.0 is much appreciated.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah. And so did you want me to demo starting the 11.0, or do you feel like folks can
No, I think people can. I mean, you translate it to whatever, bead size you're using, the 11/0, the 8/0. Let's go ahead and see how you connect this, Danielle. And then I have a really great question a little bit later as we wrap up from Mary about how you got inspired to do this. So yeah, let's go ahead and connect it.
Let's connect it. Okay. So I'm going to just, sorry, I bumped my camera. Can you guys see sick there?
It's okay. Little earthquake.
Yeah.
Bead
I'm just going to pop a needle on one of these sides here. And these instructions are the same. They're the same for both sides, and they're the same for both of the sizes. And the only difference being is that on the 11.0 version, you'll have 3 beads here that you'll be treating as 1 instead of 2. And so I'm just going to slide this up a little bit. That's a little easier to see the colors.
Yeah, perfect.
And, you know, I went with gold, but I feel like this would even go with the copper. This would go with the silver. The silver looks nice. You could go with
It
any.
does. That bronze is an equal opportunity finisher for sure.
It is. It's a very versatile color. Love this
Yeah.
one. And so what I noticed is when I was approaching the finding, I felt like it needed the ends evened out. And we often see that when we're trying to use like a tube finding for peyote.
Right.
So, that's where the 15s come in.
Oh, clever. Very clever.
Those are the cubes. Never mind. Here's the 15s. And
You know,
so
I cannot believe we had not carried 15s for so long. And Emily finally put her foot down. And I know you love working with 15s. I don't know what we did without them.
Now you love them too, right?
Yeah, we do. I do. I love them. I cannot believe we didn't have them.
They're kind of a go-to. They're a staple. They have like a role to play, even just in more like finishing things, I feel like.
Yeah.
Embellishment, and in this case, just being used to make this ends even.
Oh, it's so clever.
I'm just going to pop 3 in place of each of my beads.
Smart.
That's the first step there. So let's get these 3 here.
And while you're doing that, Nancy was saying she missed today's discount. Nancy, just email Drea over at info@beadshop.com. She'll take care of it and apply that coupon retroactively for you. Remember, folks, this coupon is only good for today. It's only valid today on July 26, 2024. But if you did make a purchase earlier today and now you're watching the broadcast and you're all, dang it, I missed it. Just email Drea at info@beadshop. She'll take care of you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, you know, we're all friends here. That's so clever. Look at how those 15s just fell right in there, Danielle.
It makes it nice and flat, the edge of it. So it will make it stay so that when it's stitched into the box finding, if without this one, particularly on this side, it would kind of lean in a little bit.
Right.
So it's kind of most essential here. But I thought it looks pretty when I go all the way across. And so that's how to do that end. And then just to put it on the finding. And this is, it doesn't have to be gorgeous, this part.
Right, because it's going to be
gorgeous if you want, but it doesn't have to be because it's going to disappear. But I'm just bringing my needle through the finding. So right here, just went through it. And then I'm going to go back through right where my thread's coming out on this side. I'm going to go back through it.
Oh, gotcha, because the bar acts as a stopper. Duh.
Yeah, and then we've got our end there, so nice and secured. And so the first little side is done there. And then what I like to do is I've got a kind of a fast hand where I just hold it. And I'll bring the needle behind the component, up through it, and then pull through. Oops, sorry. So now I'm here. And then I'll just come right back down and over through the beads and head through those 3 15s.
Gotcha. So you're just stitching through the block, I guess, is what I'm calling the grouping of beads. That's very clever.
Yeah. Thank you. It's really fun because it starts to really come together, and it's very strong with the fire line, especially.
Yeah, and that's what you're using. You're using the 6-pound fire line. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Just as a refresher. I know you mentioned it, but
I believe the nylon threads work too. When I'm working with those, I reinforce it one time through.
Right.
And so all I've done so far is I came from behind and just went through the finding from the back. And now I'm just going to go through the cube. And we'll just go bead by bead, treating each of those groupings as a bead.
Right.
And it'll slide a little on you. Don't worry about that part yet. And so I'm just going to go behind the finding again with my thread. Up through it.
You know, that finding is good looking on its own. It really, you could do some stitching over the top of it, um, and just blend it. I mean, because it's such a nice width and shape. Um, I don't know, do a little
Good.
stitch on
Yeah.
top. I don't know, just, you know, now you've got me thinking, oh, how are we going to use these?
I love end bars. You know, they're so versatile, and this one isn't. It's not a decorative end bar, so it will become anything in the design you put it in. I feel like.
Yeah.
But that said, I love decorative end bars too.
Yeah. No, same, same.
Oops.
Yeah, people are saying, Barcelona Rose says, very lovely bead stitching today. Margaret is saying, this is such a smart way to finish. Margaret, I could not agree more. And Sharon is saying she has several unfinished peyote bracelets. Thanks for this, Danielle. It's a great tip for finishing.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you like it. And so it's gotten strong now. It's not as wobbly anymore. It's with all those threads, it's holding it in place. And so here on the edge, I'm just going to repeat kind of what we did over here.
Mm-hmm.
To finish it, just come up through the finding, and then I'll head back through those 15-0. And that kind of completes it there. And so from here, what you could do if you wanted to is you could reinforce this thread path all the way back by just going through the finding and then back through here.
And maybe if you were using KO or something else, you might want to do that. But here with the fire line, I mean, you may want to do it. I'm a reinforcer for
Are
sure. I'm
you?
like, let me pack as much thread, and that's not always a good idea, I don't think. But yeah, it's very
It does
clever.
work really nicely. It goes through. I find these 15s, they are generous enough you can get another pass through them.
Right, that's great.
So it kind of works out. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. And then you just weave in as normal for your peyote stitch design.
Okay, great. And so you usually weave down just a little bit, then kind of turn a corner, weave in a little bit more, and just clip your threads.
Yeah, that is usually what I do. I usually, so from here, for example, where I am, I might
Mm-hmm.
just go through the work a little bit.
Right.
And my stitching is pretty tight, so sometimes getting through it's a little tricky.
Right. And you don't want to split a thread for sure, or split a bead. Break a bead is what I'm trying to fumble around to say. But yeah, as long as you feel like it's, woven back in and pretty tight, you should be or pretty secure rather, you should be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you can make turns in peyote stitch in places like kind of in the middle of the work, which I've always really loved.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best stitches. So kind of like just zipping around. And I might just trim it right there. I feel like that's pretty good.
Oh, nice. It looks great. And our buddy Nile, while we were chatting, I texted Nile and said, "Are your ears burning? We're talking about you." So I don't know if he's jumped on yet or not, but Nile Patel says, "Hey to everybody."
Hi.
After you finish that, Danielle, I have a question for you from Janice as well as from Mary, but I'll get to that question. Go ahead and why don't you add that box cover to the top?
I'm just going to grab a jump ring and I'll grab my toggle ring. And you can also, this could be your toggle bar side. And let's see, let me get my pliers really quick. Let's see. Here we go. Pliers handy.
Perfect.
All right. And so I'm just going to get my jump ring ready. And then you just go ahead and put the box finding on the end. And this little end will be available for your jump ring.
Mm-hmm.
And bring that jump ring on and the toggle clasp. There we go. And then I'm just going to close that up as best I can. There we go.
Nice.
And you're all set. That's all you got to do. You can pop a charm on it if you want. I was loving the charms you guys had in these ones. I thought that was so pretty.
Yeah, that great little charm from our buddy Becky Nunn at Nunn Design. It just adds a little, a little love, right?
It really does. And I think that's what inspired Drea named these. She's so talented. I think that's what inspired it, was the little charm. We went with, it looks like a little succulent. So
perfect. Yeah. Now, there's a couple of questions here. Jermaine has a question. Would these findings work with a 15-aught project as well as the 11 and 8? Yeah,
they would. I believe they would. So the kind of dimensioning, if you want me to show you really quick, I can.
Sure, that'd be great.
What you'd want to do to figure out your width, and this is actually what I do for any size beads, not just a 15, is, let's go with an 11-0, maybe work with a smaller one, is just kind of string them, and you can figure out the width you need. So I would just keep going. This would take a lot of 15s, and this is the smaller size.
Gotcha. So you would just put them across on your needle, see how many, and it really doesn't matter. The length obviously matters, but the width doesn't matter so much because it'll just sit in there just fine.
Yeah, it'll have a little more wiggle room than the larger beads. Well, the larger beads are a snugger fit, but it's still going to work.
Nice.
So there's 8-0 in the 11-0 finding.
Gotcha. And you don't do any glue on that. It's the loop that holds it all together, right? No need to glue.
Correct. Yeah, it's no glue needed. It stays on pretty well.
Yeah, that's really nice. I love not having to do the glue because sometimes I freak out a little bit when I have to add glue to my beadwork, but I'll do it. But this is great that it just kind of jumps right on there. I love it. We had a couple of questions, Danielle. I'm going to scoot back here to the question that Mary had. She says, I'm always inspired by artists creating tools or findings out of a need that they find while creating. She'd love to know when a tool or finding idea comes to mind, how do you get it from your mind to actually have it manufactured? How did you go about it? If you want to share any of your process, I'm going to go ahead and put all of these things up on the screen so we're all here.
Yeah, so in this case, these were, I had a notebook of ideas that I was working through, and I approached Kirsten at TierraCast with the idea, Al and Joseph, and they liked it, and they helped me bring it to life because I'm not a skilled metalsmith. So creating my own prototypes was, the original prototype of this was made of cardboard.
Oh, that's great. So you did the prototyping. You did your prototyping in cardboard. I love it. I love it.
For both the discs and this one, it was cardboard and felt. And then I basically brought it to Tucson and showed them.
It's really great.
And they speak Danielle, so they were able to translate all of the.
Oh, that's really fantastic. So you have a notebook then that has designs and ideas. So hopefully this won't be the last finding we see from you. Yeah.
I would love to do more.
That's great. That's great. Well, you definitely saw a need and definitely got that cardboard out and did it. I love it. I love it. That's fantastic. Karen had a really great tip, and I don't know if you've done this, putting the larger beads on the inside to support the cap and then maybe transitioning to the 15-aughts.
That's a great idea.
It is a great idea, isn't it?
It would work the same way that these were done, where we kind of went from 15 to, you could just have this be the inside.
Right.
And then the 15s would come from here.
Right. Very clever. Very smart.
Yeah.
I love this. I love getting like minds together for these type of things. Well, Danielle, would you show some of those samples one more time, that herringbone piece and stuff, if you don't mind?
Yeah, and if you want, I can take off one of the caps and we can see underneath it.
Sure. Do you mind? That would be fantastic.
And then one other tip I had for the there's a little bit of a wobble.
Mm-hmm.
If you put an additional jump ring and charm, it's multi-purpose. It's serving as stabilizing.
Oh, fantastic. And the earrings as well, if you don't mind just sharing your earrings one more time. We put the link earlier from our buddy Nilay Patel over at Silver Silk. You folks can find that. But it really is, you're using the
Yeah,
Pleased as Punch monthly mix and some of Nilay's pipe chain, which is great.
and it even has some beading wire, soft flex beading wire inside.
Oh, fantastic.
So you can even match the colors, but you don't see much of it. The finding kind of covers it up there at the top, but
Oh, gotcha. But yeah, so the pipe chain is on the soft flex finding.
yeah,
Perfect. Oh, I
and that's
love
just
it.
a little crimp in there. See,
Yes, so clever. I love it. It's showing all of our friends together in one sample.
in
Love,
one shoe, yeah.
love.
And these beads are the same beads we're using today in the other design. This was actually one of the concepts I was working on for this class.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was trying to decide which one to do. And so herringbone's even easier to attach. You see how you're just using your beads as
Right.
beads. Super, super fast too.
Right. So you start by attaching the herringbone and working from the bar.
Yes, yeah, I actually brick stitched that first row right onto
Gotcha.
it. And
Gotcha.
then this looks like it's my finishing side, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a little indistinguishable. Oh, no, hang on, that might be my starting side.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it looks great. Well, we are going to schedule that demo right away, my friend. I
Awesome.
love the way the herringbone looks, and it is the same. Would you mind putting the bracelet that you did with the same beads? If you see, folks, let me take this off. If you see, I mean, all of these beads, with the exception of the earrings that Danielle did when she added the Pleased as Punch mix, it's really cool how the stitch differentiates, but it's the same bead. It's really a great visual of that.
You can tell I really love these colors.
Yeah, especially between the herringbone and your brick stitch. Really clever. I mean, the herringbone and the peyote stitch.
Thanks.
Yeah, really looks great. And that's the same finding, right? The same width.
Yep. Yeah, that's the 8.0 finding, but you could
Mhm.
also do it with 11.0. It would work great.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. And Sandy's asking about how long, I mean, you're fast, but for us mere mortals, this isn't a super lengthy project, is it?
No, in fact, this one, I may or may not have stitched it up this morning.
Oh, you cannot confirm or deny
Yeah.
the time, right? I
Yeah,
love it.
a few cups of coffee might have been involved.
Got it. And so for that finished length, for those of you who might have missed it, that beading that Danielle did, that's 5.5 inches. And the
Yes.
finding and the configuration that she added with the nun design hoop and the box clasp adds about 2 inches. So just depending on the length that's desired, that's about 5.5 inches worth of beading. Karen, I agree. She is a genius. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you guys are sweet.
I love this so much. Well, we really appreciate your
Aw.
gosh, just your work. It got warm in here, so I had to take the scarf off. I was all,
I
I'm
could've
gonna wear
sworn
the scarf, and I'm like,
yeah.
no, too warm. Well, everybody can find that the handout over on beadshop.com on the project page. And we will have you join us again for more of these great things, and just a mention, those waterfall earrings. I'm trying to see if I have them here. I don't think I have them right here. That was your design that you so graciously let me use when we introduced those findings. So I'm excited maybe to have you come back and do an earring show as well. So,
Oh, you leveled that up. That was so cool. I love the
oh,
way you
well,
did the cap. That was
yeah. It was so good. So the 30% goes Miyuki across the board. So it's all Miyuki, my friends. So all the sizes, all the Miyuki beads. So just jump those right into your cart. Let me put up let me cover our beautiful faces here for just a moment. You can use that coupon code today only 726. Enter that Miyuki 30 at checkout and save 30% off on all Miyuki beads in stock. So if you've already shopped, you can go ahead and email us over at info at, I'm trying to find that slider there. I know I have that up here somewhere. Here we go. I have questions, but you can email over at info@beadshop.com and Drea will take care of you and apply that retroactively. But remember, it's only good today, the 26th. If you're watching this on replay at a later date, it won't be. But if you're watching it on replay later today, it will. So,
Awesome. Yeah, that is
so
a very encouraging shopping coupon.
yes, well, we really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and solo this one more time so everybody can see that. If you want to take that screenshot right there, it's a great, and Lynn has a very nice comment here. She says, thanks so much, Danielle. So much fun to see how successful you've become. You've worked very hard, plus being a great mom to 2 little boys. So, yes.
Thanks, Lynn.
You're great all around. So much love. And it's the fountain earring. You can find it there under the fountain earring, the earring that I did with Danielle's fantastic finding. So thank you, Danielle. I know you've got a busy day today. So we thank you so much for popping in and doing the show with us. My goodness.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I had so much fun.
Well, we really appreciate you. We really appreciate these original designs where you see a need in the bead world and create this cool stuff. So we already have a meeting date on the books, Danielle and Janice and I, at the end of August to slide in some time slots for some great lives from you. We really, really appreciate you. And of course, all of you, my friends out there watching and supporting us, go out there, share this broadcast. We want to see what you're making. I'm going to put this up real quick right here. You can go ahead and follow us on all of our socials, our Facebook page, the Bead Table. Hit us up over on Instagram. Give us a tag at beadshop.com if you make anything with our products or our projects. Hit up our Pinterest pages for a lot of great ideas. Like, subscribe, and notify over on YouTube. Our social hashtag is beadshop.com. And of course, any questions, just shoot us an email right over at info@beadshop.com. Thank you again, Danielle, from all of us here, all of us watching, all of us here at Bead Shop. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.
We'll see you soon. Have a great weekend as well.
Thanks, everybody.